This week, we get to put floorboards in this pile of rust right here. I ain't looking forward to it, but it's gotta be done, so let us get busy. No, sir, ain't looking forward to it at all. It's quite a bit of rust here. Yep. We got to have an A pillar, B pillar, rocker, outer rocker, inner rocker, floorboard, and then I don't know what we're going to do here. I think they sell this part. I'm not sure though. Then over there we got to do the third door rocker and A pillar, and this center there's no parts to buy for it that I have found. We may have to make parts, but anyway, I have took a lot of measurements. Like from up here, down to here, and then here to over here. That's what that red mark is for. That's where I know to put my tape measure over to here. Because my main goal, I don't care what the sheet metal looks like, because you can cover that up with carpet and whatever. My main goal is to have this door look like it came from the factory. Matter of fact, I checked all the door gaps before I took the doors out. Both sides, they were perfect. With all of this missing, they were still perfect. It sure was. That's my plan, is to put it back like it was. You got quite a bit of adjustment too. This little piece in here, it moves up and down all around. I'm sure that does the same thing. So you got quite a bit of adjustment. I think we can get it back pretty good. I believe what I will start out with firstly, let's get this remnant of a rocker panel out of the way. And then I think we'll start up here. Well, we'll get into how I'm gonna do that, but firstly, let's get this little remnant out of the way. All right, let's do a little grinding. I ain't got but maybe an hour or two today to work on this. Been busy doing other stuff. But I want to go ahead and get started on it, because if I don't, then I'll start doing something else. If I start it, I'll stay committed to it, I think. But if I don't start now, I'm liable to start on the steering or something else. This has got to be done. So let's just get busy and do it. What I plan on doing is grinding the paint away and finding all the spot welds and grinding them down, which it ain't a whole lot holding it right now anyway. But anyway, we got to get the spot welds knocked out. Now, I'm sure I'll get plenty of comments about how I'm doing this wrong. That's fine, fellas. I done told y'all I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna do it the best way that I see fit. Anyways, let's see if we can knock this loose. All right, there's our first step of body work. Throw that in the garbage. Now, I'll tell you what, let's get some of this here seat foam out of here too. Well, it's gonna catch a fire. They shoved this here, I guess that's part of a rocker, inner rocker. They've shoved it plumb full of stuff. And this brace too. I think this brace is fine. It runs all the way across. It looks okay. It's just got bolts here, and then same thing on the other side. Might be one on the bottom too, yeah. Let's see if we can't get them loose real quick. We'll let her want it. Oh, look at here. If y'all could see how rusted that bolt was, you'd be amazed at that right there. Yeah. Well, that whole thing is turning. I may have to grind it off. I'm gonna leave them back ones because I'm not replacing that. This, I don't know if this be called a quarter panel or what, but it's rusted right here, but I ain't worried about that. Only thing I'm worried about right now is the B pillar, and then we got an inner and outer rocker, and then this here. And this inner panel here's rusted. I don't know what we'll do there. We'll have to put some sheet metal. The floorboard's rusted back here too. I'm mostly worried about this area right here first though. Well, I got everything removed from the B pillar, the rocker. I was just holding this panel up here, just seeing what it looks like. These panels ain't formed all that greatly. No, sir, especially here. Pretty bad, but that's what we got. So that's what I'm gonna have to use. We'll worry about that later. I'll work on the A-pillar now. Here is my goal right now. Put this thing up here and get it lined up. That ain't bad right there. Make me a mark. Actually, let me scribe a mark. I think it'd be a little bit better. I'm gonna scribe a line right here because we got to replace all of this, you know, because we got rust way up here. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace as much as we can out of this. We'll worry about this later. It ain't no big deal. Anyway, I'm gonna scribe this, and I'm gonna drop down, I don't know, 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, just so I don't cut too much. And then we'll remove this A-pillar. I got to remove it from the kick panel too, which there's some welds here, and I think there's a couple of spot welds here. Then we'll remove that. Then we'll work on the rocker, getting it in place, getting it in this place at the same time, getting the measurements right, tack it up. Then we'll come back here, and then we'll start on the rocker. That's the plan. So let me get my cutter out and go to cutting this. Well, I can't get my cutter in there, so I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I ain't gonna worry about no spot welds on this side. They're already broke free. You know those grinders, they're real long and skinny, got it's like a mini belt sander. I need one of them to grind spot welds. You know, I've watched several videos of people doing this, and they seem to be handy. And maybe what we have to do, and then we need to get these broke free firstly. Let me see if I can do it with the grinder. If not, then we may call it a day, and then I'll have to go to Harbor Freight tomorrow and get some tools. That grinder ain't gonna work. Let me get a regular grinder. Y'all know what I got that I forgot about? I got a little body saw. Let me get it. Let me see what I can do with this little saw. All right, that's broke free from the floorboard. Will it allow me to cut this? I got that cut. It's about as crooked as a dog's leg. I gotta get these spot welds out of here some kind of way. All right, kick panel is loose. I gotta make this one last cut here. How would you go about doing that? Because, well, I don't really know, to be honest. I can't get nothing in there. I can do it like this right here for now. All right, there we go. One A-pillar removed. Now, I gotta decide how much of that kick panel I'm gonna cut out. At least to right here, because it's rusted all the way up here. The only thing I know to do is try to line it up with the original stuff and decide where I'm gonna cut it. Cut this panel first. Probably right here. Let me cut this panel off. I'll be right back. I got it cut off. I mean, that looks pretty good here and over here on this body line. Then this piece will go approximately in here. Just like that right there, but that don't look right. What What's going on here? I guess these panels are just, they're not formed very well. No, sir. Now, let's just see what we got here. They don't fit worth a darn. They really don't. I forgot I got to cut that little piece off right there. I don't know if I get in here with this. Oh yeah, look at here. All right, I got to do a little better about removing the spot welds. Yep. I may go get that sander I talked about tomorrow. But for now, we're just learning. Right now is what we're doing. Anyway, put that up there. Fellas, I'm gonna go back and forth on what to do and what not to do, so y'all just have to bear with me. But I think I'm gonna mark that right there. That fits pretty good. I can't see the line. I had a red marker. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. I found it. I found it. Let's clean this out because I'm tired of that dropping on me. Now. Okay. Come on, man. Oh, it's got a lot up in there. Well, it'll just have to drop on me. Yeah, my kick panel. What if we put that right there and then put this over top of it? Tell you what, let me go ahead and tack it. I can always break it loose. Let me drag the welder out. All right, let me put a wee bit of tack or two on that. I forgot to grind the paint off of that, but we'll do that in a minute. Now, let's see how this little fella here is going to line up with that one. And the measurements, what does that look like? Like I said, this is the only thing I'm worried about, that door closing and looking good. We are a 1/16 low. I need to cut a little bit off right here. That is pretty much dead on right there. My goodness, I got a big old gap up there. I got plenty of wire, I reckon. Let me tack that right there. Wait a minute. I gotta grind some of this paint off. Now let's tack her up there. Oh yeah, we're way down. I just don't want to fit right there. I don't know what you do about that. Other than cut a little bit off of here. Let me do that real quick. I'm gonna grind a little bit here. That's better. Let me measure it again from here to here. That's really close. Let me put one tack in it. That's pretty much dead on. Now let me measure from here to here. I don't forgot what that measurement was though. 39 3/4. Oh goodness, we're 1/8 inch off. Yeah, well, a little more than a 1/16 now. Let me break this loose. Right there. Man, that's a gap. What in the world have I done here? That's pretty close. What about this? Did this change? It's a 16th too low. I might have to cut some of this off and bring it up, and that'll help this gap out a little bit here. Actually, let me tack that right there and see what happens. Less than a 16th too far that way, and then yeah, about a 32nd out either way. I can live with a 32nd, fellas. Let me measure from here. That's within a 16th too. I think that's pretty good. Yep. I believe I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm gonna call it a day because this is very stressful on me. Y'all just don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna call it a day. I'm gonna do some more studying before I go any further. Tomorrow we'll continue. I'll weld some of this stuff up here and then we'll get back here on the A-pillar. See y'all tomorrow. Till the next day. Well, I ain't gonna lie to you. Been a couple days. I had a lazy day there. I just didn't want to do nothing. No, sir. But we got to get back on this. We got to get this thing ready for Power Tour 2025. I think what we're going to start with, I would like to get at least this side done. Well, we ain't going to get it done because I'm missing this part right here. I did order it. I don't know when it'll be here, hopefully in a couple of days. But everything except for this, I would like to have done on this side today. I think what we're going to start with is the B pillar here. And where you can see the rust only comes up to about right, well, about where the outer rocker was. So we may cut it off there. We may go just a little higher than that. I ain't made up my mind just yet. And this is not formed real well, especially on this outer edge. We may just cut this little flange here off. I ain't sure yet, but I am going to try to at least get spot welds loose everywhere. We'll just have to see how it goes. I did go to Harbor Freight though and get some tools day before yesterday. I got me a little mini belt sander. Oh yeah. Got me a flanger / hole punch. And I got some of that stuff right there for my die grinder. What do you call it? They call it a surface conditioning. I call it a little mini grinder pad. Anyways, let me decide where I'm gonna cut this off at and go to grinding it, getting spot welds knocked loose. Let's see if we can't grind this paint away and reveal our spot welds right here. This little fella here uses way too much air. We need to hurry up and get that big compressor going. Anyways, I'm trying to use my grinder whilst the compressor builds up. That might have been a waste of money right there. I do not have a panel separator. Well, I do. It's a screwdriver. And then I don't know how you're supposed to separate this. You can't get to it, so I don't know. Tell you what we need to do first. Let's get this in place about where it's going to go. That's really hard to do with this flange. Tell you what, let me cut that off. Yep. Where's my cutoff wheel? This is garbage. That's been at like a 45. Should be a 90. What in the world, man? Everything you buy nowadays ain't nothing but garbagery. That's terrible. It's just, that's awful. I can't use this. This is about a 45. Y'all see that? About a 45. Should be a 90. You can't. This is garbage right here. That's exactly what this is. What in the world, man? Well, I forgot to tell y'all, I bought me a hammer and dolly set too while I was at Harbor Freight. I'm trying to straighten or bend this lip on around because it's a 90 here. So I don't understand what's going on, but it ain't a real good bent panel. No, sir. Now, I do understand that this panel ain't going to fit over this one because they're the same size. But, yeah, it's pretty bad how badly bent that is. I'm going to have to take this and bend it over too eventually. What in the world, man? Let's cut it just right there, because this little flange here, well, it goes away right here. If I cut it just below that, then I don't even have to worry about bending that over. Let's do that. Where is my cutting wheel? I didn't cut this all the way through because I didn't want to cut this quarter panel, whatever you want to call it. Now, let me work on this. I may just cut it right here and then weld it up here, because it's going to be hard to get to these spot welds. Let me work on that a little bit. See if I can get this piece out. I shall return. See what I'm going to do. I'm just going to cut it off right there. That's the only thing I know to do. This will probably be replaced because it's pretty bad right in here. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing, fellas. I done told y'all that. I have no clue at all. This little fella here ain't much. It don't cut like I thought it would. But anyways, there's the old piece out. Now where'd my piece that I cut? I gotta finish cutting it. That's a ½ inch from that bend to that bend. If I line them up, what in the world, man? What in the world? Wow. Let me show y'all that up close. I think I bought my last AMD panel. If I line this edge up right there, well, look at the gap right there. Well, if I line this edge up right here, look at the difference in that bend. There ain't no way, man. I don't know what to do with that. Let me do some head scratching, because that there ain't gonna work. Absolutely not. I'm trying to reshape this, bring this bend on out, and I've already got that, but I've bent it around a little too much. I'm trying to straighten it back out some. I've done about as much damage to it as I can. I mean, that don't look bad. It don't match up, 100%, but it's pretty close. Let me cut a little bit off of here, and then I think I'll tack it in. I'm not going to tack anything right here just yet. I want to see how that rocker fits. If it's anything like that little piece right there, we are in trouble. Let me get some screws shot in this, see what it does. Well, we got 4 pieces of the puzzle put together. Well, actually, where's it at? Is it this here? Yeah. The kick panel, I took it out because I was afraid it might get in the way of doing the floorboard. We'll put that in last, but it don't look too bad. I mean, they don't line up greatly. See, like right in here, they don't line up real good. This not the rocker, but the B pillar stuff. Man, it was literally a ½ inch off. That's kind of sad. Luckily, that outer rockers won't cover that up. We do have a big old gap there, but that's what I guess seam sealer and mud and filler and all that's for. I guess those things are your best friend when you're doing body work. I'm not planning on welding this up just yet though, because We got to repair this sometime. You can see the rust there. I don't know how much of this I'm going to replace. You know, we may just cut it right here, or I don't know. So I'm not going to weld that up just yet. I ain't going to worry about filling it up with seam sealer or nothing else. We'll worry about that later. What I want to do right now, get this old floorboard out. I think what I'm going to do, we got rust way on up in here. Here's your seam. I think I'll come up a couple of inches, cut her straight across, and we'll come down, I don't know, through here somewhere. And then that patch panel looked like it comes up maybe to the top of this bend. So we might cut her just, I don't know. Well, we got rust here though, don't we? We might cut it to the top of this rust right here. We'll see how it fits. This is an OEM and not a drop-in, but I don't care if it is a drop-in because it's floorboard. You'd be covered up with carpet or something eventually, so I ain't too worried about that. Well, we're going to make her fit. That's all I'm worried about. I don't want to see the road as I'm going down the road. No, sir. Anyway, let me get this cut out. Got to get this old rusted out brace gone. Put the new brace in, and we'll go to fitting that floor pan. I'm going to draw me a line about right here. I think that's where we're going to cut her. About right there. There's a little bit of rust right there, I think. Yep, I see a hole. It ain't major though. This here, well, no, it's pretty rotten right there and poking a hole in there now. Let's just go on and we'll cut her on about right there. Well, my pen is quit marking because it's so rusty, but we'll just follow this little line right here. Yep. We got a brace right here. I'm gonna try not to cut it in two. And this clutch pedal, I want gone. I'm sure this will never be a manual transmission again, so I may just whack her off right here, get it out of the way. But for now, let's cut this floor up. Now, let me work on this a little bit, see if I can get that busted loose. I've about got the largest portion of it broke free. That was the last spot weld there, and I got something up here. Come on, man. There we go. Oh. Man, that hurt. Just cut the devil out of my finger. Hurt me bad. Now I gotta get this garbage here out of the way. And then I gotta get this brace out of the way, some kind of way. I'm not real sure how I'm gonna do that. Let me work on this a little while. I'll be back. There's more than one way to get a cross member out of a truck. Woo-hoo, it's hot. Well, that's not what I was trying to do, but it does help me out. Maybe that's what I should have done to begin with. Let me let it back down. I can get it from the top now. I'm here to tell you, this little brace is in here, buddy. Good gracious. Got her cut out, got that brace gone. That was a job, let me tell you. Might have to clean this up a little bit here. I guess from all the beating and banging, I did a bunch of beating on that stupid brace. I've separated this one from this one. We'll clamp her together and put this little bead right there. What else? I got to do a little more trimming right here, I'm sure. Let me get this welded up, and then this here plate, I got to get it put back on. I'll drill 2 or 3 holes here, and we'll do a little plug weld in there. Then we can drop that floor in and see where we're at. Weld her up, boys. Weld her up. Before I weld this in, I reckon we probably ought to get this brace in, if it'll go. Oh, look at there. Come on, man. I got to mark and drill holes here because they're not in this brace. Let me do that real quick. I think I got to pull that rocker off too because it's in the way. I don't know how this is going to affect where this is. It can't move. This cannot move from where I had it. So we may end up putting shims in here. But let's get this brace done up. Then we'll measure from over there to here, see where we're at. I gotta clamp it over here so it don't move on me. And tighten them bolts up and see where we're at on my A-pillar here. Let me run them up, but that ain't, I know that ain't gonna work because it's already got her in a bind. Let me measure it real quick. Yeah, it's where it needs to be. And there's at least a half, if not a 3/4 inch gap right there. The only thing I know to do is just put washers back there for shims. Because this can't move in. It's got to be where it was because the door was perfect, I'm telling you. Let me do that. Get some washers. Well, I got the brace in. We got spacers in there. That's the only way I know to do it, fellas, because like I said, the door was fine. The way it shut, door gap, and line it up this way too. So the only thing I know to do is keep this exactly where it was. I just measured it again. It's where it's supposed to be. Let me do some paint grinding. We'll weld this to this brace, and then that piece of flat metal that goes here, we'll put that on. Then we can drop the floor in and go to cutting on it. Get this here plate welded in place approximately there. We've got to clamp a lamp it. Now we got to clamp a lamp this here. Ooh. Whoop a devil out of it with a hammer. Alright, I think that portion of it is done. Well, there it is, the brace. This thing, whatever you want to call it, it's in. The bolt goes through the hole, that's all that matters. Right or wrong, that's how it is. I went ahead and put the rocker back on. The screws went right back where they're supposed to. I'll measure this again. Everything's dead nuts on. Let's set the floor pan in here, mark it, and cut it. I think what I'm going to do when we cut this here, well, you see how I went just past this bend here, right here? Well, what if we come up here and go, I don't know, 1/4 inch below that bend there, cut it straight out, and then we might come straight out here, and then probably drop just below this bend here, go straight across there. Let me mark that out. And we'll go to cutting it. Cutty cut. Will it fit or won't it fit? Well, we got holes here. They go where that dadblame brace is. That means I got to take them bolts back out. It means I got to take this back out before I can get to the nuts on these two in the front. So I'll be back in a minute. Well, I decided to, instead of going through all this trouble here, we'll just cut that little section out. I think it'll be all right. Now, how's it going to fit up in here? Where are we hitting that? Right here. Yeah, that's far as she can go because it's hitting this A-pillar. It likes, well, right here it ain't too, well, yeah, it is too. It's about a 1/2 inch or so. This is not going to move. I've done told y'all, you know. Let's try this here. See what it takes to make that line up. Bolt width out right there. There's a floorboard. There's A-pillar. And, you know, they're mated together. And that likes a 1/2 inch. Well, you can see right here. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be here. I don't know which one is off, and I don't know what to do to remedy it. Do I cut this? Do I bend her around? I don't know. Let me think on this a little bit. I got to figure out how to fix this. Yep. Well, it's in there if you want to call it being in there. Let me put a screw right here and we'll step back and look and see what we got. Well, it fits pretty good here. This line, I think, is falling in place. This right here, I need a screw there, but it's pretty close. But then you see this mangled up mess here in the corner. I done bent this all to pieces because the panel needed to come this way, and we still got this great big old gap right here. I'm pretty sure those are supposed to meet. I don't know what panel is out. I sort of think it's this A-pillar is messed up. But I don't know, because according to this, the A-pillar needs to go out. But according to the brace, the A-pillar needs to go in that much. So, I don't know. I think it's just a conglomerate of junky parts. And I'm just going to have to do the best I can. Only thing I know to do right here, well, I may try to get some kind of weld down in there and then just fill her full of caulk or whatever. I don't know. I'm going to have to, I cut this a little too far. We'll have to get us a strip here or just try to fill that in with weld. I have filled bigger gaps, fellas. Trust me. I think I'm gonna call it a day because I'm not sure I'm gonna leave this like this. I'm gonna study a little more and see what I can do. Tomorrow, I would like to get this finished up. It'd be nice if we get that side finished up too, but I think that's a pretty lofty goal. Anyways, let me do some studying. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Tis the next day again. I did a lot of pondering last night and today. And remember how all this is all jammed up, bent right in there? Well, I don't like that. So I think to relieve that, what I need to do is on the top part, cut a wedge out and fold the flange back over and weld it up. But before I do that, let's put this door back on here. I just want to see how things line up before I commit to doing that. Well, I got the door back on, and that was no small feat. No, sir, it sure wasn't. Gaps, door gaps, not bad. A little smaller here than here. It gets a little bigger here than here. Actually, it sort of dips down right here. And then this in here, that's the one most everybody pays attention to. It's okay till you get about right here and it starts closing up a little. But this door is so rusty. I didn't know it was that bad. I thought it was just at the bottom. No, sir. The hinge area is just awful. It's broke loose right here. The door skin is about to come off. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I can twist it and bend it and make it do whatever I want to. It does shut pretty good. Well, you see that body line lines up too. It shuts pretty decent. Of course, this latch don't work. I don't know why. That little spur gear looking thing, it won't catch. I gotta take that apart and see what's going on with it. But it don't shut bad for, considering the shape it was in, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. My only concern is, a new door, you know, we ain't gonna be able to twist it and bend it. Is it gonna fit? I don't know. We got quite a bit of an adjustment up here on the hinges, so I think it'll be okay. I think what I'm gonna do now is mark where I want to take my little wedge piece out. Go ahead and cut it and get it fitted and tacked in. And then I guess we'll go ahead and start tacking everything together because I'm pretty happy with it. You can't judge the rocker panel because so much of the bottom of the door is missing. I ain't worried about it, fellas. It ain't never gonna be a show vehicle. It is a Backyard Butchery special. Just want to get her back on the road. Anyways, let me pull that floor pan out and go to working on it. Well, I've changed my mind on what I want to do on this here beat up area. I was going to cut a wedge and then bring this flange over and weld it back. Well, it'd be a lot easier just to put a relief cut here, bend her down, and then if there's any excess, well, there will be excess, just cut it off if I need to. I think it'd be easier to do. Let me go to whooping on it with a hammer. That right there, we'll try that. All right, let's see what that does. I may need to go a little bit more, we'll see. Well, here it is in its final form. It's fitting pretty good. This here got whooped all to pieces, but it's better than it was. Oh yeah, it was all buckled up here in the corner. It's a lot flatter. I think, let's look at our flange. Do we need to cut any off? I mean, it wouldn't hurt to, but wouldn't hurt to leave it either. I think it'd be okay. To get it fitting on these formed places throws my hole off. So I got it marked where I need to cut that out a little bit so our bolt will go down in there. And I got it marked where I'm gonna drill holes, so we can do our little plug welding. Got it right here too. This, I think this should be pretty much up against here, but it's not. I don't know why it ain't fitting, but, well, the panels are garbage, I'm pretty sure. But we still have enough to drill here and do our plug welds there, so I think we'll be good. Let me pull it out and drill the holes. Oh, yeah, I'm going to trim here, too, because, I want to weld all down the side. Well, I don't want to be welding to this cover. So I'm going to trim her down a wee bit so I can weld that, too. Anyways, let me pull it off and get busy. Let's make some punch-a marks firstly. I'm using a 1/4 inch drill bit. Now let me deburr the back side of them. Let me cut this edge off real quick like. Knock the paint off. I gotta cut this out with something. Then we'll put it back in there and start welding it up. Oh yeah, finally. With our tips, fellers, other than this piece here, we'll do that when I get it. This floorboard here is ready to weld in. You got my kick panel put in. The original kick panel is caved in. I'll probably weld something here and pull that out, then tack it. But yes, sir, she's ready. These holes here that I drilled, no, sir. I forgot that the top of that brace is open, so you got holes on either side. So I got screws in them. I'll pull them screws out one at a time, then weld that hole up. Other than that, I guess, yeah, I'm ready to weld. I reckon I'll see y'all in a couple hours because a whole lot of welding and a whole lot of grinding. Let the welding begin. Not bad. Not bad at all. I got all the welding done, with the exception of, we're missing this piece here. I emailed the company about this. It's been 3 days since I've ordered it, and it's still showing as processing. So I emailed them a little while ago, hey, where are my parts? Have they shipped? I ain't heard from them. So I'm going to give them another day, and then I'm going to try to cancel the order and get them from somewhere else, because that's a little ridiculous, I think. Anyways, I got her welded up. It don't look too bad. No. But I have done no grinding. I don't think I'm going to grind in here. I don't see the need in it because it's going to get covered up. I'll probably hit it with seam sealer, all of it, eventually. But no, sir, probably ain't going to grind this unless there's something sticking up that, might cut me if I'm in here working. Other than that, no, I ain't worried about that. Now, I am going to grind like a pillar here. And, right here, we'll grind that. I forgot to weld them 2 screw holes. Yep, sure did. But I'll probably grind on this A-pillar here because you can see it when the door is open. Other than that, though, I ain't doing a whole lot of grinding. No, sir, I definitely ain't grinding all that. What's next? Well, let me tell you this firstly. Just got back from Elkton, Kentucky, about a 45-minute drive, and got this LT1 accessory bracket for this motor. Remember how we had the alternator mounted down low? Well, I didn't like that. And these brackets are quite expensive. Well, I found one here. I got him talked down to a reasonable price, so I went and got it. And he gave me that power steering pump. I don't know if it's good or not, but he sure enough gave it to me. That's awesome. Anyway, we're gonna put that on there, and the alternator's gonna be up there where it's supposed to be. And I'm hoping we have time to do power steering, but if we don't, it ain't no major deal. But anyway, that's something we got to do before we head off, because I want that alternator up here where it's supposed to be. Anyways, this side over here, I reckon I'll start on it tomorrow. I'm not gonna video. Y'all didn't see me do it over there. They ain't no need in showing you the same thing again. But basically what I'm gonna do is get a measurement from here to here, and the same thing back there, and then this and here, well, kind of floppy there. But just have to guess. Well, like I said, the door, these called gaps and all that, look pretty good. So I may measure it from here to over yonder and then put it right back like it was. Anyways, once I get the measurements, we'll go ahead and start cutting the rockers out and the floorboard. But, dummy me, I ordered 2 A-pillars for the driver's side. Yeah, that's what this one's for. I don't have one for this. I ordered it a while ago. It's over here in 2 days. So whilst I wait on that, I'm going to go ahead and tear all this apart. I guess I could probably go ahead and start putting this floorboard in. We'll see about that. Man, this is really rotten over here. It sure is. Anyway, I'm not going to video this. You done seen it. I will check in from time to time just to let you know how I'm going on it. So I reckon I'll see y'all in 2 or 3 days, hopefully. But right now I'm going in the house because I'm a growing boy. I'm about to starve to death. See y'all later. Well, it's been about a week. Actually, it's been probably a week and a half since we've done any body work on this thing. I think I left off waiting on the part over here. Finally got it. This piece here, and it's uncoated. That's bare metal. Every panel I've ever seen was coated. This and here come not coated, but the other half over there, it's coated. I don't understand it. But it was not big enough to get rid of all the rust, so I had to make this little piece right here. But this side over here's done now. Yeah, I've ground all my welds. I mean, they're not super smooth, but they are ground down. Even them in there. This side's done. I'll probably hit it with a coat of paint. If I think about it, we'll put some seam sealer over that, but I ain't too worried about that. Then, let me show you what I got done over here on the passenger side whilst I waited on parts. I've got basically everything ready. Matter of fact, I've already welded in this piece back here. Remember over there, it was a 1/2 inch too narrow, and the bends were like a 45. Well, that in the same way. I had to flatten this edge, put my bend on it, cut it off, and yeah. And then I got all this cut out, and this is basically ready to go. But then I went to put this rocker on. Here it is right here. It's made for a truck. You cannot get a Suburban third door type vehicle rocker for the passenger side door. They don't make them anymore. I didn't know that at the time. Went to fit that up and it don't work. Well, let me just put it up here about where it goes and I'll show you. It goes approximately right there. See how those lines line up? Well, you got this big old gap here. This is meant for a truck. This post here, is different than on a truck. Well, I was thinking I was just gonna have to cut that up and make it work. Then I got online looking and I found this piece here. It's made for this. I thought, well, that's what I need. And I was thinking it was gonna come all the way out over here. No, sir. Ain't nowhere near close. Nope. I've waited a week on this part right here, and well, I could have made that fit, I'd say. I'm gonna try to use this though. We'll see how it works out. I haven't cut any of this out yet because I was waiting on that panel. Anyway, this is gonna take me a day or two to finish up. Like I said, y'all done seen it over there. I'm not gonna show you this over here. I'll update you from time to time. But anyways, let me get this done. I'm hoping I can get it done pretty quick. Just a little update on what I'm dealing with on this rocker here. Well, I've got my A-pillar tacked in place. Got the rocker trying to get it in place. It's been a task. Anyway, the way it's formed matches right here. But then look at here. I can stick a finger down in there. That's pretty bad is what that is. Only thing I know to do is come right here, cut it, lay it over, and then you will have to trim it and make it all fit. Actually, I don't need to go all the way in that corner. I need to come out here a little bit, let that fold down, and I don't know, man. This is pretty bad stuff. Yep. Anyways, let me keep working on it. Maybe I'll get it eventually. Well, just to play it on the safe side, that rocker was way off. I thought, let's put that door up there, see what it looks like before I commit to putting that rocker there. And I'm glad I did it because it ain't right. Nope. I don't know if y'all can see in there, but my holes, they're way off. The bottom of this slot is hitting about halfway on the hole where the threads are. This rocker's too high. It's got the door jacked up. It's sitting on the rocker. Well, you look at the body line here. You got a little gap here. That's probably about what it's supposed to be like. And over here, we're above this door, the bottom of it, probably a 3/16 of an inch. The rocker's got to come down. I'm starting to think either I've cut the A-pillar wrong or it's just formed wrong. I know I had trouble. Let's see, what was it? It's been a week and a half, so I don't remember. I think it was the inner or the kick panel. It didn't want to match up with it, and I had to finagle that. Let me pull this door back off and figure out what I'm going to do here. Crises averted, hopefully. That fits mucho, but Taro. I think what the issue is, well, y'all know I'm not real bright, but for whatever reason, I was trying to put this line here where I had cut this A-pillar off. For some reason, I thought that's where it went. No, sir, I don't think so. Let me set that door up there and let's just see what it looks like. This door's light as a feather, light as a feather, light as a feather. Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! Light as a feather. All right. What does that look like? That looks mucho bettero. That gap there is pretty even now. And you can tell by where the old washer was, it's right back where it was from the factory. But I'm having to pick up on the door to unlatch it, and I don't know why. It actually needs to drop, but I got to pick it up to unlatch it. You can tell by the gap up there, it's a little wider at the top. But anyway, let me open this up real quick, like. Had to have both hands to do it because you had to pick up on it. Anyways, you can see the 64 holes I screwed right there trying to get this gap right. Fellers, that's the only way I know to do it. If you don't have the parts to go by, you just, you guess at it and put the door back up there and shut it and make sure everything's right. This is what you get when you got a truck that's ready for the junkyard. Parts that are subpar, and a feller right here that ain't got a clue what he's doing and try to put it back together. You just do the best you can. hopefully by the end of the day, I'll at least have this all fitted and tacked together. It'd be nice if I had it welded up, but we'll see. Anyways, let me keep on trucking, and I guess I may start on cutting this up next. On to the next issue. We gotta get this back of this rocker panel right. Here's the little panel I waited on for a week. It's inside there. We gotta cut this outer piece to match that, and then we'll weld it up and grind it down smooth. That's the only thing I know to do, because this was missing. I'm just having to guess at what it looks like. Well, you can see back in there how that panel is shaped. We just got to cut this outer one to fit it. I'm probably going to start like right here, just zip it all the way up, and then make us a cut right in here, and then we'll come down through here, something like that. So let me get busy fixing this, and then I'll come back and show you what I got when I got it done, and then we'll move on to the next problem. I got that piece cut and fitted best I can. It ain't the prettiest thing, but it'll do. I'll just weld all this up and grind it down smooth, and eventually we'll seam seal it or something, smooth it out a little bit better. But mucho better than it was when I started. I can tell you that, because that piece wasn't even there, I don't think. Now what I'm working on is we got to secure this post to the truck. And I got my measurement. I got a yellow mark over there, and then yellow mark here. It's, what is it, 65 1/8. That's my best guess. Some of this was still here, it just wasn't connected. Well, I pushed it over, and lined it up best I could and measured it. And that's the measurement I'm gonna go with. And anyway, what we gotta do is this is a brace right here. I hope y'all can see that. That's the brace that goes all the way across. And I have made me a plate and bolted it to that. Then what I'm gonna do, I gotta cut some of this rust out. And then I'm just gonna make me a piece here, come out, bend it around, meet that one. We gotta do it on the other side too. That's simple. The only problem is this bottom is rounded like this rocker. I don't know how to recreate that. I'll do the best I can. It ain't no show truck like I told y'all, but anyway, that's what I'm working on right now. Let me get all this cut out and get me a piece put in here. Update again. This rocker is pretty much where it's going to go. It matches up here on the bottom, and then that there matches up pretty good. These two match up. We know this one's right because we checked the door. Well, they're lining up pretty good. This in here I think's bent down a little bit. I can bend it back up. It'll be okay. But it's pretty much where it's going to go. Also, remember that little piece in there? I was wondering, how in the world am I going to make that? That don't matter. This outer rocker will cover that. Oh yeah, I'll break that little piece off in there. That'll be just fine and dandy. Most importantly though, watch this right here. Oh, look at here, fellers. That post ain't flopping no more. No, sir. I got this half of that attached to that brace down there. I'll do that other half over here in a little while, but she's shaping up to be, looking pretty good. She ain't gonna win no, what is it, AACA competition, something like that, is where, they restore a car back to exact factory specs. She ain't gonna win that competition, no, sir. But eventually, hopefully, we'll get her back on the road, and she'll look halfway decent. Right now, let's get this door in place. Make sure that rocker's gonna be good. We ain't gonna hit nowhere, and then I guess I'll start working on the other half of this. Then we got to get in here and do this and the floorboard, and we still got a long way to go, fellers. Let's keep on the trucking. Got the door on, and it's decent. It sticks out a little bit, probably from about right here on down, and then up in here. I would think it was the rocker, but it's sticking out up here too. It could be this panel. It could be the rocker, both. I ain't gonna worry about it. No, that's still pretty good compared to what it was. I did have to do quite a bit of adjusting on it. And then the door, it would only go about right there, and it would not go any further. I fooled that thing 15 minutes thinking there's something wrong with the latch. You can see right here a little dent. Well, this screw I had right here, it was hitting that. It wouldn't shut. I also know, by the way, I ain't been giving y'all any pointers on this because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning as I go. But I will tell you this, if you don't learn nothing else, see all these screws? There and there and there and there and there. There. Screws are your best friend doing this. Screw them together when you think you got it where it needs to be. Put you some screws in it. And then, if you're doing a door here, put the door in there and check the fit. If it's good, then guess what? You got screw holes to go exactly back where it was if you need to take that panel off to work on something else. Screws are your best friend. Anyways, let me get the door back off, and I'll start working on the other half of this brace for this post. Then I think I might start trying to do something with this big old gap here. We'll talk about that in a little while. Anyways, I'll be back after a while. This center post garbagerie, it's done. I ain't trying to hide it, fellas. It is garbagerie the way I did this. But who cares, fellas? If it keeps this post from moving, which it does. Watch this right here. That feller ain't moving at all now. No, sir. And when we get the rocker on it, you won't never see none of it. You'll never know unless you watch this video. So y'all don't tell nobody that I did this, and everything will be all right. Here's what's probably going to happen, though, many years down the road after I'm dead and gone. Hopefully a lot of years. There'll be a fella come in here, look at this truck, say, it's been worked on, but it ain't right. Let's tear it apart and see if we can't make it AACA quality. When he gets to this right here, he's probably going to hang his head and walk away. Yeah, because that is some backyard butchery right there. But I don't care, fellers. I know my level of expertise, and that's it when it comes to body work. Anyways, I'm going to put this rocker back on, and we'll work on this area right here for a little bit. Third door rocker is installed, fitted up. Whatever you want to call it. Yep. And it ain't too bad. Once again, I'm butt welding. Overlapping. Normally, you'd want to cut it on that bend there. Butt weld them. This stuff's too rusty to be butt welding. Yep. Plus, on the inside, you won't ever see that. Seam sealer covered up. Speaking of seam sealer, I got a great big old hole down there. This inner rocker is not meant for this door. But there's a great big old hole down there. Seam sealer fill that up. This rocker is actually for the front doors. This shows you how little I know about body work. I bought the inner rockers for both of these doors. Well, here's the inner rocker right here on the floorboard. Yep. So I didn't need them, but I did actually because I put one here. And then I cut a piece out of that one to make this little area here. But yeah, it fits up pretty good. If you're wondering what all the yellow dots are for, that's where I got a drill. And then I'll do my little plug welding. There's a bunch down there on the bottom of the outer rocker too. Anyway, that's done. What is next? Well, I need to do the kick panel. I ain't cut it out yet. Then I guess I probably need to put this rocker back on, floorboard in, and then, well, actually I need to get that screwed in where it's going to go. Then we need to work on this area right here. Let me do that. I'll be back in a little while. Well, I've wrestled this floorboard for a good 45 minutes, and tell you what, it's been pretty aggravating. It sure has. This here is way too high, like an inch and a half. And I had to get up on here with my feet and just jump and bounce and bend it down to where it would fit under this rocker. Because once again, my screw holes, they got to go back where it was because we know that's right. So we got to make that fit. It's fitting decent now. Got a little issues over here. I'm probably going to have to make a cut and lay it down because it ain't fitting just exactly right. The body's tweaked. It's wore out. It's a pile of junk. Right here is a big crease because there's a brace running through here. And it's wanting to bow down real bad right there. Like I said, it's probably tweaked and twisted. But I wanted to tell y'all this. I would say teach you, but I don't know enough to be teaching y'all nothing about this. But I didn't want to pass this along. Before you start anything like this, especially this is bad. This is probably the worst thing I could have started learning on. But you got to have a reference point before you start. And, I measure my door openings and all that. We know we want the door to look good, and we've got that. So now this rocker, our screw holes, that's a reference point. We got to make everything fit that. That's what I spent 45 minutes trying to get that to do. I got the kick panel in place. I just don't have the old stuff cut out. I'm not sure that I'm going to cut it out, to be honest with you. I don't really see the need because it ain't going to hurt nothing for it to be doubled up. I may leave it just like it is. I don't know. Well, you can see the old rusty stuff. I might cut a little bit of that rust out. I don't know. But anyways, I'm tired. It's late. And I'm hungry. I'm starving. Actually, I'm starving. I'm going to the house to eat tomorrow. We'll probably work on this just a little bit more. And we got to get this. Then we got to start welding everything up. Anyways, see y'all tomorrow. Well, I think everything is fitted up. It's ready to weld. I got all my holes drilled, as you can see. All down through here and all over in there and all over there. The only part that I got to do a little more work on is this one right here. That's because this area here, I got to do a little forming because it's so way off. I got to tack it and beat it, and I don't want to do that until I get everything else welded in. And then also, pretty rough right here. This whole section needs to be replaced. I don't have the metal to do it. I don't have the time to do it. So what we're going to do is get this panel here where it goes, and I'm going to come in here and push that up. We'll tack her in place, and I'm going to cover them holes up with something. And we'll leave it like that until I get time to, you know, completely replace that. We got other spots too. This pan or cover, yeah, it looks pretty bad. There's a little bit of holes here. There's several spots that need patching, but we got the main thing done. That's all that matters. So I'm fixing to put my helmet on and weld for probably a couple hours at least, because this here welding all the way around that, but you can only weld a little here and a little here and a little here and over there. And it takes a long time. I'm hoping to have this done sometime tonight. If I do, I'll be back and show you. If not, well, I'll be back and show you tomorrow. Here's the piece I've been looking for. The last one. I gotta do a little finagling. Well, this here just, it don't meet up at all. This piece here where the seat goes, it was bowed way down. I had to get a jack and jack it up. I'm gonna try to tack that right there, but it's really thin and rusty. Now, let's see if I can whoop on it. That's really, really bad, but it's gonna have to do. You know, I bought a body hammer and dolly set from Harbor Freight. That hammer right there has been very handy, especially this end here if you need to get up in a quarter or something. Pretty handy. Now I got to get underneath here and do the bottom inner rocker to outer rocker thing in the bottom. I took a little finagling there, and it's a little bowed right here. It'll be all right. It sits low enough that you won't never be able to see it. All right. Let me work on it up here just a little bit. We'll be done with this. There it is, fellers. The old Jolly Green Giant. She's got rockers and floorboards for the first time in many, many years. Y'all look at this. Look at this gap right down through here. I don't think it's bad. No, sir. Considering what we started with, what we had to work with, no, that ain't bad at all. Open this door here. I got to fix that darn handle because that hurts trying to get your finger down in there. All right, had to use two hands. There's the floorboard, and let me let me explain this little piece right here. That's a piece of old stovepipes, what that is. Like I told y'all, we had rust all up in here and all down through here, and I didn't have any metal. And like I said, too, this entire section needs to be replaced because all the rust here, and then it's actually popping up right here. We'll fix that later. I ain't worried about it. This is, Backyard Butchery special. I just want to cover the holes up right now. But I think the rest of it don't look too bad. No, sir. Sure don't. My welds look a lot better over here, too. This metal wasn't quite as thin as over there, but yeah, it ain't too bad. I got all my welds ground. Let's open up this back door. I'm having a little bit of trouble. They want to rub right here, but you can see rust there already. I think it's been doing that a while. They just barely rub. They were rubbing a lot. That one wouldn't even open. I had to really work on the hinges, getting them adjusted, but finally got it. Here is this rocker and inner rocker and all that there. Not too bad. No, so I'm pretty pleased with it. This panel here, all I did was tack it in because there's a lot of rust right in this area. We're going to have to do a whole lot more patching. I'm just trying to get it ready for power tool right now. We ain't trying to, become a show truck or anything. I don't think we'll ever get there with this, but you never know. But yeah, I'm very pleased with how the doors open and close. Well, that there making a dummy out of me. But look at the body line there. Body line there, it ain't bad. No, sir. Sure ain't. I will tell you this. When I first started this, I was dreading it. I ain't gonna lie to you. When I started the driver's side over there, it was just miserable. Yep. But when I got over here on the passenger side, I sort of knew what I was doing. I knew what to expect, and I actually did enjoy doing this side over here for the most part. Yep, sure did. Would I want to do it for a living? Absolutely not. No, sir. But we got some more vehicles that need this type of work, and yeah, we'll get to them eventually. Now that I got this under my belt, oh yeah, I feel pretty confident. Now I'm sure I'm gonna get some comments from all the expert know-it-alls. I expect them. That's fine. I'm sure I'll get a lot of comments on why didn't you use rust converter. Here's why. Great question. Glad you asked. Several years, 5-6 years ago, I did a frame swap on the old four-wheel drive, and whilst I had the body off, I cleaned her good and prepped it good and put rust converter on it. 6 months later, you could not tell I put anything on it. I knew right then that rust converter was garbage, so I said, I'm not doing it on this. I did paint it here and there and everywhere because I have better luck out of paint than that rust converter. So I did paint it here and there and everywhere. And, I got a lot of bare metal right now from where I ground all my spot wheels down. If I can find some green paint that matches, I'm going to paint these rockers so they don't, stick out so bad going down the road. If not, then I'll just paint them black, whatever. I don't care. Let me talk about something real quick. Then we're going to be done with this video. I wasn't even going to bring this up. Then I got to think, it's pretty fitting what I've done this week. I'm doing something I've never done before. Pretty major body work. And, well, I had a feller leave a comment on last week's video. Pretty long comment, too. It was on the video of me coming home from North Carolina in Silver Bullet. We had a lot of carb trouble out of it. And, well, we now know what the issue was because we put that bowl back on this truck. Well, it had trash in the needle. That's why it was flooding out. Anyway, he told me, you don't need to be doing stuff if you don't know what you're doing. Don't be tuning on that car because you don't know what you're doing. Went on to tell me how great he was. And then he said, I've heard you tell me, you don't know what you're doing when you're tuning the car. I have said that, yeah. But what I'm talking about is like on a hot rod. That truck is a pretty good hot rod. Got a great big old cam. It can be hard to tune them. But as far as just basic tuning, yes, I know how to do that. Anyway, my point is, if you run across somebody like that, shun them. Don't listen to them. Get away from them. Act like they got the plague. Because if people throughout history had that mentality, nothing would have ever gotten done. If you're not supposed to do something that you've never done, that you don't know anything about, nothing would ever get done. You'd be sitting on the couch or at the computer, watching TV, playing video games, something like that. Don't pay attention to people like that. No, sir. If there's something you want to do that you've never done, get out there and do it. If you mess up, okay, who cares? You've learned how not to do it. Now figure out how to do it and then perfect that. I'm living proof. I just did something I've never done. It was a pretty big job. Yeah. Turned out pretty good. Anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up, and don't pay any attention to people like that. Next week, what are we doing? We're going to drop a little feller in the weeds. So y'all be looking for that. Anyways, appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe. Share it with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Blur, blur.